Ex-WWE talent Swerve Strickland adorably tried to run with that lame talking point about WWE's lack of black singles wrestlers in the main event. Listen, nobody is better at criticizing Triple H's struggles with black talent than me. I started this gangsta shit. But in context, WWE's current struggles with black talent actually points to black excellence in wrestling as a whole. Walk with me. WWE's main roster currently has a shortage of top black stars because there were once big stars in that company and then they got paid by AEW. Clap for them. Lest we forget, WrestleMania 37 was the blackest WrestleMania of all time just a few short years ago. And multiple black wrestlers on that same show ended up signing big contracts with AEW. That's how the black market works, and I love it. But AEW didn't build that.
You didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
Today, we're going to talk about the walking, talking hypocrisy that is Swerve Strickland, the many holes in the clumsy black narrative that he's championed, and how he's taken the bait by beefing with another black goat for white enjoyment. Subscribe and Mandingo.
Pro Wrestling Bits.
I don't just speak about representation, I go out there and prove the thing. Just for my amusement, Booker T.
Swerve Strickland loves to parade around as AEW's example of black main event talent. But that's the problem. He's just one example. Just one exception that proves the rule. Just one talented free agent whom AEW picked up after WWE fumbled him. Swerve Strickland is the ultimate example of AEW tokenism. 5 black men have main evented an AEW pay-per-view in the company's history. Those men are Swerve Strickland, Swerve Strickland, Swerve Strickland, Swerve Strickland, and Cody Rhodes. I'm just playing. The 5th is Swerve Strickland, of course. Now, does that sound like representation to you? Or does that sound like represent Strickland? It's like using John Cena to make a point that WWE does a great job of booking white men from Boston. No, they don't. Fandango's from Boston. Damian Sandow's from Boston. WWE just does a good job booking John Cena because, like Swerve, that's more of a commentary of John Cena's once-in-a-generation talent. The fact that Swerve Strickland is responsible for most of the black history in AEW tells me more about Swerve Strickland than it does black people in AEW. Swerve's bullshit surface-level talking points about black men on main roster WWE PLEs was picked up by Dave Meltzer. That tells you how out to lunch Swerve is.
There has not been a black male singles match or winner on a pay-per-view. I don't know how far back you go. You know, like he lost tonight, but he's like, I have main evented 5 pay-per-views in the last year. You know, like don't peg us with this one because I've been in 5 main events, and there you go.
When you have the same talking points about race relations in wrestling as Cracker Dave, tell him, Bray. Run. With simple critical thinking, I can tell you 4 black men off rip ready to main event WWE PLEs right now. Javon Evans of North Carolina, Trick Williams of South Carolina, Obafemi by way of West Africa, and Ricky Saints from New Orleans, Creole Stand Up. Sounds like representation to me. I love that spectrum of blackness. Now, who are all the black men not named Swerve Strickland who seem like they're on their way to main eventing AEW pay-per-views anytime soon? Take out Swerve Strickland and there are none outside of former WWE main eventer Bobby Lashley. Ricochet is finding his way as a heel, but he just got pinned on pay-per-view. And let's not dehumanize black women just to make a bad faith point about representation. Jade Cargill and Naomi are about to become the first women to have a singles non-title match at WrestleMania. No, not the first black women, the first women, period. You know what that means? It means the story WWE is telling with Jade and Naomi has been so historically good, it doesn't need a title. And we haven't even started talking about Kalani Jordan, Jada Parker, and the Meta Girls. If you want to believe the lie that black people are struggling in WWE, you need help from a Microsoft Excel filter to drill down black men in singles matches on main roster PLEs. But first, don't forget to pull Tony Khan's size 6 boot out of your mouth. Tony Khan has almost never created a black star from scratch in his own company. And when it did fall in his lap in the form of Jade Cargill, he never booked her against another top star, and she left before he could really screw her up. TK just debuted Kevin Knight to literally lose on Collision to the color white. AEW is not Black Twitter. AEW is not a black church. AEW is not a sanctuary for black talent. It's an African ATM. That's why they signed the Hurt Business, because it's just business. Not a black-owned business, but a Nepo Babies business. Nothing more, nothing less. I've said it before and I'll scream it again. Tony Khan does not care about black people. He cares about black stars and what they can do to put his company in the black. Learn the difference. Tony Khan spread his wings and vultured the culture the same way rich white influencers pay to hang out with rappers for clout. With talent like Ricochet, Mercedes Moné, The Hurt Syndicate, and Swerve Strickland, Tony Khan essentially paid blacks more money to be less relevant in Jacksonville, just like he does with his pro football team. But at the end of the day, the price of the black market in wrestling went up, and I'm actually thankful for TK for strictly business reasons. Black main eventers are built in WWE and paid in AEW. What's the problem? The black male pay-per-view singles main event narrative is bogus because of how many specific boxes you have to check for it to be true. And more importantly, there's a whole soul plane of future black main eventers in African NXT ready to go right now. It's 3 niggas in the main event at Stand and Deliver, which is NXT's WrestleMania. 100% of NXT world champions have been black since NXT's move to the CW back in October. And ever since, they've been slapping AEW's Skinhead main event in the ratings. That's why Swerve is being used as a pawn to criticize WWE's main event roster booking of black people. But in the grand scheme of things, the future of WWE is as black as it is bright. Ricky Starks just won the NXT North American title barely 1 month in. He beat former AEW star Shawn Spears before being attacked by fellow AEW fumble Ethan Page. Right on cue, the PC was chanting,
"Just stole the spotlight from Ricky Saints."
And if Triple H fumbles but a single African NXT star in the years to come, I'll be the first person to drag Paul on this app. You ain't gotta worry about that. Swerve Strickland took a shot at Booker T for not retaliating against Vince McMahon, both in and out of character, when Vince said the N-word in Booker T's presence 20 years ago. 20 years later, Swerve Strickland, both in and out of character, has said nothing about feuding with a literal skinhead neo-Nazi who happens to be the world champion of this pro-black company he works for. This Vlad TV interview should have been called Hypocrisy and Ivory. If you're an AEW sycophant watching this highly entertaining content right now, and you have the balls, pull up to the fake media press conference and ask Swerve to publicly comment on AEW putting their world title on a neo-Nazi. Ask a follow-up question about having a black man lose to a skinhead on pay-per-view if that's the case. For any AEW sycophant with the balls to do this, I will Venmo you $100. Straight cash, homie. Fuck it, since Swerve wants to be Al Sharpton all of a sudden, let's ask him now. Hey, Swerve Sharpton, what are your thoughts on AEW and Tony Khan building this company around a skinhead stable in 2025? Inquiring niggas want to know. Oh, no. John is he's just a cranky guy who just happens to be going bald. I mean, if you're on the road every week, you'd be going bald too, Vlad. Yeah, but no, nothing like that. We just two professionals who have problems, and we're just going to find out in a wrestling match. That's really all this is. No Nazis or skinheads or anything like that. Okay, not what I asked, but moving on. Do you think AEW would ever pull the trigger on a black militant stable on the white man's TV? Or do you think that privilege is just reserved for white nationalist stables? Can I have a minute? Just 1 minute. All right, let's try this again. Swerve Sharpton, do you think we'll ever get to the point where the Hurt Business can at least wear berets and leather jackets on TV? So I can't really comment. Okay, looks like Silent Swerve has no opinion about the complicated racial dynamics in his neck of the woods. But thanks for playing, Malcolm S. Check out this video and subscribe. Does AEW really care about black people, or do they only care about black free agents? Because there's a big difference. Tell me in the